In the heart of Manhattan, a 59-story skyscraper towered above the skyline. Sleek, modern, and hailed as a masterpiece of engineering. But what the public didn't know was that this building harbored a deadly flaw. Under the right conditions, it could have toppled like a house of cards, taking thousands of lives with it. In the summer of 1978, one engineer uncovered the terrifying truth. A single storm could have brought the entire tower crashing down, and no one outside a tiny circle of experts knew how close disaster really came. The story begins in the early 1970s, when banking giant Citibank commissioned a new headquarters in Midtown Manhattan. The site presented a unique challenge. An old church, St. Peter's Lutheran, occupied one corner of the block, and the congregation refused to move. Architect Hugh Stubbins and structural engineer William Lemessurier proposed a bold solution. The skyscraper would rise on 4 massive steel columns, not at its corners like most buildings, but at the center of each side. This design allowed the church to remain in place beneath one corner of the tower. Completed in 1977, the Citi Corp Center was an icon of modern design. Its sloping roof and elevated base drew admiration, and engineers praised its clever structural innovations. But hidden within those innovations was a flaw no one noticed, at least not at first. To withstand the sway of winds at 900 feet, Lemessurier designed a 400-ton tuned mass damper, a giant steel block suspended inside the building, swaying on hydraulic systems to counteract the motion. At the time, it was one of the largest dampers ever built. For a year after opening, the Citi Corp Center appeared flawless. But in 1978, a college student researching skyscraper design asked a simple question: how strong was the building against quartering winds? Winds that hit the tower at a 45-degree angle. Lemessurier reviewed his calculations, and to his horror discovered the oversight. The building had been engineered to withstand winds striking its sides, but not winds striking its corners. Against diagonal forces, the stresses on its joints multiplied disastrously. The problem was compounded by another detail. During construction, the joints had been welded not with full welds, as Lemessurier had intended, but with simpler bolted connections. It was faster and cheaper, but far weaker under stress. When Lemessurier ran the numbers, the result was terrifying. A hurricane-force storm hitting New York at the right angle could topple the tower, collapsing it into neighboring buildings in a chain of destruction. Lemessurier faced an unthinkable choice. If news leaked, panic could sweep New York. Yet if nothing was done, the next big storm might level Midtown. Quietly, he brought the issue to Citi Corp's leadership, and together they agreed. The flaw must be fixed in total secrecy. Structural crews were mobilized under the radar. No press releases, no public statements. The plan was to reinforce every bolted joint in the building with welded steel plates, but the work had to be done at night, when offices were empty. To prevent alarm, even the city's building inspectors were kept in the dark. The project became one of the largest and most secretive structural retrofits in history. Night after night, welders worked in the tower's steel skeleton, adding thick reinforcement plates. By dawn, crews vanished, offices reopened, and workers arrived, unaware their skyscraper was being saved above their heads. The work was a race against time. That summer, hurricane season loomed over the Atlantic. Meteorologists tracked a storm named Ella as it barreled north, and for a tense week, New York prepared for impact. If Ella had struck directly before the repairs were finished, the Citi Corp Center might have collapsed. But in a twist of fortune, the storm veered harmlessly out to sea. Repairs continued, unnoticed by the public. By late autumn of 1978, the retrofit was complete. Thousands of tons of extra steel secured the tower's skeleton. The Citi Corp Center, once a potential death trap, was now one of the safest skyscrapers in New York. And yet, the public knew nothing. The entire crisis had been kept off the record. No newspaper covered the danger, no official statement was made. For nearly 2 decades, the secret stayed buried. It wasn't until 1995 that the truth emerged, when an article in The New Yorker finally revealed how close New York had come to disaster, and how an army of welders had saved the city in silence. Today, the Citi Corp Center, now known as 601 Lexington Avenue, still stands tall in Midtown Manhattan. Few of the thousands who pass by each day know the tower's hidden history, that it once stood on the brink of collapse. For engineers, the crisis became a legendary case study. It underscored the importance of checking not only the obvious stresses on a structure, but also the hidden ones. Quartering winds, overlooked joints, and construction shortcuts nearly brought down a skyscraper. And for William Le Mesurier, the engineer who uncovered the flaw, it became a defining moment. His honesty in admitting the mistake and his courage in secretly fixing it may have saved countless lives. The Citi Corp crisis is a reminder that even our most modern marvels can carry hidden dangers. Behind the glass and steel of our cities are calculations, assumptions, and human choices, each one critical. For 2 decades, New York unknowingly lived under the shadow of disaster. Yet because one engineer asked hard questions and acted, the city was spared a catastrophe. It is a story of hubris and humility, of oversight and redemption, and of a skyscraper that nearly fell over, but didn't.